this video, I'm going to demonstrate how to develop a self-balancing robot. For development of this robot, the major components required are an Arduino board, accelerometer, saber-tooth, motor control unit, and DC motors. Coming to the Arduino Uno board, it is an open source prototyping platform. It is an Atmega 328 controller based development board. It is very flexible to use or flexible to develop different kinds of applications. Different kind of hardware equipments can be interfaced to it easily, so that it wide range of applications. Nowadays we are using Arduino boards. Next one is the accelerometer. Here we are using ADXL 355 accelerometer, which is manufactured by SparkFun. This is a 3-axis accelerometer. It is used for measuring acceleration. Acceleration, it is used to measure two different kinds of acceleration, namely static acceleration as well as a dynamic acceleration. A static acceleration is observed in a stationary bodies which are under the influence of a gravitational field or any fictitious field, and whereas the dynamic acceleration is observed in the bodies which are in motion or which are affected by a sudden shock. In this accelerometer, as we mentioned earlier, it is a 3-axis accelerometer, so the acceleration in all the 3 dimensions, that is x, y, z. So in these 3 dimensions we can measure acceleration by using this accelerometer. Coming to the operation and how this acceleration is measured, let us consider a fictitious box which is free from all the forces, that is consider space where the box is placed, and inside the box a ball is placed. As there is no gravitational field or any other force acting in the field, here so the ball is exactly at the center of the box without moving on any of the balls of the box. So when the body is moved, that is when in precise, let us say when the accelerometer is moving from its position, then the ball which is present inside this will be moving. So when it moves, it will be touching any of these walls. So when it touches the wall, it will be producing a capacitive effect due to let us not go in deep into the design considerations or designs of this accelerometer. Let us consider a prototype, a model, and this is not the same as in accelerometer. Let us consider an example. When it touches the wall, a capacitive effect is produced. When the ball is rolling over this wall, the capacitance changes as well as the voltage developed due to the capacitance also changes. Let us observe the second position. When it is in a position where touching both the walls of on z-axis as well as x-axis. Consider this is z-axis and this is x-axis, and the resultant will be due to acceleration on both the directions, that is on x and z directions. Similarly, let us come to the case of a static acceleration. When let us consider now the box is not in space. Let us consider it is on Earth. Due to Earth's gravitational field, it will be exerting some gravitational force. So let us consider the ball drops down due to gravitational force, and when it drops down, it will be on the z plane. So when it is on a z plane, it will be offering some capacitance which causes ultimately the effect is voltage. So voltage is observed at the Z output pin Z of the accelerometer. and this can be accessed. Actually, this is an analog output from the accelerometer which will be given to the ADC units, and these analog units will be converted to digital signals. Now, coming to the saber-tooth motor driver, it is used in different operations. The main advantage is it is used to provide a communication with the host processor. That is, we can provide we can directly provide input to this saber motor by using a potentiometer or any other sensor, etc. But we have also a provision that we can provide a communication channel between this motor driver and the host processor through any wireless devices also. So this kind of motor drivers are used in high-end or sophisticated projects. Coming to the pin descriptions for this, there are V1, V plus and V minus are the battery terminals which is used to power the entire motor driver as well as this the DC motors. And on the other side, we can observe 4 more pins which are 5 volts DC and a ground pin S1 and S2. 5 volts DC and ground pin are used to power any other device which is connected to the driver. Let us say an RC module is and a receiver module is connected to the motor driver in order to provide a wireless communication. For that module, it will be providing supply, and S1 and S2, these are the inputs for the motor driver, which tells the motor, which gives instructions to the motor driver in which direction or at what speed that motor should rotate. Coming to the development of this robot, firstly the accelerometer. Let us consider, here we are considering output only in the x direction, so that we should place the accelerometer in a proper direction, and when we are taking the x output from in the x-axis, so this x output will be given to the analog pins of the Arduino board, and as we are giving this output of the accelerometer to the analog pin, this Arduino board will convert the analog signal into digital format, and the Arduino board process according to the instruction which are given by the user previously, and the process information. After processing the information, a byte stream is transferred to the motor driver through the transmit pin of the Arduino, and this transmit pin is connected to the S1 pin of the motor driver, and the other part is M1, MB and M2A, M2B. These two are the motor control pins of the driver. From these pins, motors, both the left motor and right motor, were connected to the control program. Here I will discuss different steps involved for developing this source code. And first step, we should provide a serial communication between the host processor, that is the Arduino board, and the motor driver unit. And the next one comes interfacing the motor driver unit, that is saber-tooth motor driver, with the Arduino board. We will here, in this case, we are using a baud rate of 9600 for establishing a communication channel between the processor and the driver unit. As I said, we will be dividing into 3 cases. First one, it is when the robot is stable, that is when the robot is 90 degrees or perpendicular to the surface. And the second case is when it is leaning forward. When the body is leaning forward, we should apply a force opposite to this direction. That is, an opposite force should be exerted on this robot in order to bring it to 90 degrees. That is vertical direction with respect to ground. So for that force we should move the wheels, that is the robot, in the forward direction, because actually when the body is moving in the forward direction, the force is applied in the reverse direction. So that this body will be again getting vertical with respect to ground, so that it will be stable. And when it comes to case C, when the body is leaning backward, that is, we should provide an opposite force in this direction. So when the motor is, that is, when the robot is moved backward or in the reverse direction, an opposite force will be acting on this robot so that it comes to a stable position. In this way, by providing the motor direction, we can bring that robot in a stable position. And if angle of this inclination is getting worse, that is, if due to a sudden jerk or when the body is moving with high velocity, then we may experience a greater inclination than these two cases, that is a critical condition. Then in that case we should run the motors depending upon the inclination. So for that we will be using an formula, or let us see this diagram. When the accelerometer output is given multiplied with a gain S, and it is subtracted with the smudge factor. This smudge factor is nothing but in order to get a desired output. So by subtracting the output of the gain obtained after multiplying with gain, we will be getting an output. Depending upon that output, we will be running the motors.